the way we did in Kericho 2, whereby we hear the entire motion and then the PO is placed after people have understood the issue. Then we vote first on the PO, and if it is sustained, the governor is acquitted. If it is defeated, then we go and vote on the individual, on the merits of the impeachment. But right now we run the risk of the PO being thrown out. Listen to the mood of the House, we discuss, we talk. The PO being thrown out, and then we shall be subsumed, we shall be forced to go into that motion and then vote without consideration of whether the thresholds required for the motion to be in this House to give us jurisdiction to address that motion was there or not. It is slightly dicey, and I'll be praying, Mr. Speaker, that either we amend this motion or we withdraw it and redraft it, because given the straitjacket I find myself in, I'm persuaded to defeat the motion, yet out, but then also keep the governor's rights protected, so that if the governor's case is that he has been dragged here through the window, not through the front door, as the majority leader put it, then we still have the opportunity to listen to that argument in detail. And I hope that this particular thing should have come as an application and not as a PO, because really it doesn't fit the description of a PO. But since we have argued it, it looks like an application for dismissal, and we could look at the application for dismissal after hearing. Thank you, Mr.
Speaker. Senator Veronica.
Thank you for these opportunities, and I want to join my colleagues in opposing the motion that is on the floor of this House. Because impeachment proceedings, Honorable Speaker, are very serious proceedings. We have two warring parties at the County Assembly and the Governor and the people of Nyamira. As you can imagine, Honorable Speaker, the people of Nyamira, some of them will support the impeachment, and there is another group that will be against the impeachment proceedings. Honorable Speaker, what has been brought before the floor of this House are allegations based on factual positions. There is the allegation that 4 members or 3 members voted for these impeachment proceedings using proxy. Affidavits have been filed to demonstrate that this was not the position and that they never signed for this impeachment. Honorable Speaker, I'm asking myself, if this matter is determined on a preliminary, based on the preliminary objection, how will we scrutinize the affidavits that have been brought to oppose some of the signatures that have purportedly signed in favor of these proceedings? Honorable Speaker, we need to help the counties and the county assemblies to take responsibility for every proceeding they undertake, especially proceedings for impeachment. Because, Honorable Speaker, the consequence of this impeachment proceeding succeeding is now taking the governor out of the office where he was voted in by a large majority in Nyamira County. The only way to hold these county assemblies responsible, Honorable Speaker, is to allow a scrutiny of those signatures that were supposedly done through proxy, and question why they were being done through proxy and whether they actually signed on behalf of the MCA and whether that was available to those members of county assembly. Honorable Speaker, that's why I join my colleagues who have insisted that the putting of the question, just like in the case of Kericho County impeachment proceedings, that putting of that question must be deferred until that evidence is scrutinized by the senators, so that the people of Nyamira also feel and know that Senate has listened to both sides. Honorable Speaker, the principles of fair trial demands that both parties be guaranteed a right of being heard. Some of these issues, if they are swept under the carpet in such serious proceedings which are going to the permanent record of this House, how will Senate explain itself later that these issues have been canvassed, have been considered, members have then determined after listening through to all the evidence that is available? So, Honorable Speaker, I would oppose this motion and beg that because we created a precedent using the impeachment proceedings from Kericho County against the current Kericho governor, we follow and abide to the same precedent, pend and defer the putting of the question in line with Standing Order 66.3 and allow this matter to be heard so that we can then determine whether the threshold was met or whether the threshold was not met. And I want to agree with my colleagues who have insisted that the 2/3 threshold cannot be a moving target. That 2/3 threshold, if the Assembly chooses to conduct proceedings, impeachment proceedings, when 3 seats are vacant, it behoves on them then to really make sure they get the support of those who are available within the House, if it's the 32, to still meet the constitutional threshold. Because if you will notice, Honorable Speaker, that threshold has not been given exceptions. So if it is a moving target, how then will you be determining that threshold? Does it mean if members are in the IALA games and we have impeachment?
Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia hoja ya kuondoa mashtaka yanayomkabili gavana wa Nyamira kupitia kwa pingamizi ya kimsingi. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwamba kwanza ningejiunga na wenzangu kusema kwamba mswada huu ambao umeletwa na kiongozi wa wengi umetuweka sisi katika njia panda, kwa sababu japokuwa alisema kwamba tayari tumeweza kuweka historia ama precedent kuhusiana na masuala haya, ameweza kuikiuka historia hiyo kwa kuleta mswada ambao iwapo tutautupa, ina maana kwamba tutaweza kwenda mbele bandua mamlakani Governor Amos Nyaribo. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, mswada huu kwanza una makosa, na ningekubaliana na Senator Omtata, Senator Usosi kwamba mswada huu unatakana kufanywa marekebisho, ama sivyo basi utumie mamlaka yako kama Spika kupitia kanuni namba 66(3) kwa swala la kupigia kura mswada huu liwekwe mpaka mwisho baada ya kusikiza kesi hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, jambo la pili ni kwamba kuna mambo ambayo yamezungumzwa hapa na pande zote mbili, ambayo mambo yale yatahitajia ushahidi. Kwa mfano, kumeambiwa kwamba kuna viapo vya wabunge 4 wa kaunti ya Nyamira kusema kwamba hawakuhudhuria si jopo la usawa, yani sio jopo la equity, zote an equity tribunal. Hii ni sheria ambayo inaturuhusu sisi kusikiza masuala ya impeachment kulingana na katiba na vile vile sheria ile inayosimamia serikali za county. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi napinga hoja hii vile ambavyo imewekwa kwa sasa, na kwamba tutapiga kura kukataa kutamatishwa kwa mswada huu katika wakati huu. Lazima tusikize ushahidi ambao utaletwa kwa pande zote mbili, kwa sababu tumeacha kazi zote nyingine ambazo tungekuwa nazo kuanzia leo na kesho ili kusikiza kesi hii. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hiyo.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want also to add my points. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, I think this business of BOs has become too much in this House. We had a problem in Solo, the creature 2, and now Nyamira. It seems the assemblies have some gaps in terms of the legal knowledge. And they have so many, every time they're very senior members of the legal fraternity, legal councils. And I think it would have been good for them to before they came here, they put their house into order. Because every time we have a PO, just because of threshold business. And that shouldn't be happening out. Because the kind of people that represent, like again, the assemblies should be able to solve that kind of problem before they come to this House. Honorable Speaker, Nyamira per se, I've had interacted with them, especially the assembly, and there was a problem one time, and remember that we brought that report here. Nyamira, the former speaker, was removed forcefully from the office, and the current speaker was there illegally for some time until it was approved later, because he was appointing himself as a speaker while he's still an MCA. Honorable Speaker, I can see the same problems may be happening to the governor also. And I think we need to at least be able, the lacuna that is up there, meeting the thresholds, and in terms of the process, we need, as a Senate, I think we need to intervene and have the assemblies on these matters. As it is, every day is a PO, and the problem actually could be genuine or not genuine. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, Nyamira, I think, I don't know whether it's KCU or Nyamira, there were three MCA's elections for by-elections. And I don't understand maybe what's happening, because I'm being told one died, one resigned. And therefore, the question is, if somebody dies and then you remember how long it took this country to form IBCs to be appointed. It took quite some time. So what happens now to the assembly? Must you wait for that threshold, or they can still do their business within the limits, the people they have in that place? So that needs also to be answered, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this matter requires a serious legal interpretation, because we also need to at least get What are we going to do if somebody died and the IBC was not there, the election are not done? So what happens? Can you go and stop the business of the House? So I think we need to talk, this House needs to also discuss on that and help this, the matter. Honorable Speaker, the people of Nyamira, I think, deserve to hear to conclusive the problem of this issue. Whether the PO is there or not, I believe the Nyamira people requires to listen and to hear both sides of the stories. And therefore, I will advise the Assembly members and the legal team to be given time to also present their case, so that we don't get this kind of problems always. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I oppose the PO motion.
Senator Bertus Akin. Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. This motion, to me, is a bit complicated because the threshold was not met according to the numbers that has been given. We are given 35 MCRs, and 24 would have voted if they met the threshold. But then we didn't get that number. Mr. Speaker, I know there are issues according to how the issues were read. There are issues at Nyamira. But Mr. Speaker, if we go ahead and listen, like some of us have said, if we go ahead and listen to this matter, and then we find the governor guilty at the end, and we've not dealt with this, what will happen? Will we impeach the governor without the MCRs meeting the threshold? Mr. Speaker, I would say that if the County Assembly has a case, they should, because with the 32 members of County Assembly, they would have still gotten the 24, which is the threshold of the MCRs to impeach the governor. I think so that we don't repeat the same mistake that was done in this House by impeaching Waititu and Songo without meeting the threshold because of some pressure from somewhere, like the majority has said. We should be very clear in what we are doing in this House and let them go back and bring the threshold that is needed. I support this motion, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mofire.
Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to oppose the motion. I'm opposing the motion, Honorable Speaker. You know, we Kenyans entered this House with very high esteem. The Senate has been described as one of the most sober houses for the last few years that I've been around. We have gained a lot of respect across the country, even internationally. Honorable Speaker, we are the Ghanaians. We are people who are supposed now to check on devolution, especially to our young brothers in the county assemblies. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to, as I said, to create a precedent which could be a bit untidy, where we seem to be stumbling block for the county assemblies to process their oversight responsibilities in the respective county assemblies. If you look at some of these allegations that have been leveled against the governor, some of them are so gross, and it will be very unfortunate for us as a House to terminate the hearing of the entire process at this stage, because, Honorable Speaker, as much as we know, impeachment comes along with very many casualties. It's a lifetime issue that can curtail somebody's career. But at the same time, Honorable Speaker, we as the custodians of devolution, we must be very, very, very much alert to make sure that we are not condemned, we are not being pushed into, regarded as a stumbling block to devolution and to checking on the oversight. So, Honorable Speaker, I would suggest that we put to hold to the voting of this motion before us until we investigate the allegations, because I've just captured there are some allegations that some people saw and they never vote. We need to even have a document examiner. We need to have an expert to verify whether those allegations that have been brought by those who allege that they never voted are true. Because, Honorable Speaker, we have processed 3 POs here. If you listen to Isiolo now, and there's so many other counties that we have done, I mean, we must be very clear on what you are doing, Honorable Speaker. Let us be very, 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 very frank. Let's be very sincere. Let's be very bold on both sides, because we also need to protect the career of the governor. We also need to protect the oversight responsibility of the county assemblies across the country. So, Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I oppose the motion.
Senator Shakila Abdallah.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi pia nasimama kupinga mswada huu. Mheshimiwa Spika, hili jumba tumeletewa kesi hii ni ya 3 sasa. Tukitupa ya kwanza ikiwa Isiolo, Kericho na hii tunataka kuzitupa ama tumezitupa kwa vigezo za vizingiti. Ambapo vizingiti zinapigiwa kura yake na kesi zinapigiwa kura yake. Kwa nini tusisikilize hii kesi tukahakikisha tumewapatia haki watu wa Nyamira? Wamejihisi kwamba wamesikilizwa na wamepata haki, kuliko kusema tuitupe hii kesi kwa vigezo za vizingiti kabla kesi haijasikizwa. Na imekuwa ni mtindo hapa sasa, ni kama itaendelea kuwa mtindo. Ni mara ya 3 sasa, hii ni kesi ya 3. Tunaitupa kwa vigezo za vizingiti bila kusikiliza kesi zenyewe ambazo kwamba watu wako na issues huko mashinani ambao kwamba imewafanya walete hizo issue hapa Senate. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ningeomba, kwa sababu hata kwa mfano ikiwa ni hiyo ndio mtindo, magavana wanaweza kuwanunua wale ma MCA ambao wamepiga kura kuambia semeni hamukupiga ama kitu chochote kifanyike, ili tu wakijua hicho ndicho kigezo kitakuja kuwaokoa hapa. Lakini wakijua hicho kigezo hakitawaokoa hapa, kesi itasikizwa, basi itakuwa ni lazima kesi isikizwe na haki ipatikane kwa ile county husika. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naomba hii kesi isikilize mpaka mwisho, watu wa Nyamira wapate haki yao, na isiwe ni mtindo wa kuweza kutupwa kesi zikiletwa hapa za impeachment kwa vigezo za vizingiti. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Chute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say a few things here. Number one, I want to support this motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I came to this house the first time, I was told this is House of Records. And Honorable Speaker, if we are going to follow the records, House of Records means if we do something today, tomorrow, we don't need to change our minds. And when I see my fellow senators in Kericho 1 and 2, we looked at the evidence, the threshold, and the threshold was not there. That even the majority leader was here. He was not happy when we said they must go back and meet the threshold. Our majority leader was not happy with us. But we said we must follow the law. Honorable Speaker, I really don't understand. When just some months ago, we looked at the issue of Kericho, and we said, please go and meet the threshold and come back here. It is not the responsibility of this House to add them 2 or 3 persons so that they can meet the threshold. No, this is not our job. Go and do your work. We are not going to do this work for you. Don't come to our door here bringing unfinished product to us. Bring finished product here. We'll listen. We'll look at the evidence and make a suggestion and decide. Honorable Speaker, I'm not a lawyer. Sometimes when these two lawyers are talking, we get confused. Who is saying what? But then, the issue is very simple mathematics. Very simple. Even class 1 student can do those mathematics. And as a Senate, we need to tell the National Assemblies, please don't bring issues and finished product to these county assemblies, to this house. And the people out there will see, will look at us and say, oh, in Kericho 1 and 2, they've asked the governor to go back and ask the county assembly to do their work. And if we change today, we say this must continue, then what is the issue? What is the purpose of having House of Records here? Honorable Speaker, finally, county assemblies are bringing cases here. And we, like in some instances, we sit in this house up to midnight. And, Honorable Speaker, it is tiring and exhausting. What we need to do is tell these guys, the MCS, please, don't bring things here and think that we are going to listen or look at something that has not met the threshold and sit here and waste our time. We don't want to waste our time in this house. Please, finally, I want to say, go back, do your homework well. You can come back even after a week. That's not a big issue. You can come even after 6 months. That's not a big issue. But don't crucify someone because you have issues with that person. And don't use this house to crucify someone without meeting the threshold. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Clerks, if senators spoke, can kindly remove their names from my dashboard, because my dashboard is still very much clogged. And I can see names of honorable senators who've actually contributed. Yes, Senator Kamau.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nasimama kupinga mswada huu. Na nimesimama kuupinga kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, wakati kunapotokea fursa katika mabunge yetu, kuanzia bunge la magatuzi ya county kama county assemblies, senate ama national assembly, kukitokea nafasi either mtu ameweza kufariki ama pengine kujiuzuru, Mheshimiwa Spika, unachukua fursa ya kutangaza na kusema kwamba kiti hicho hakina mwenyewe. Kwa Kiingereza ama kwa lugha ya Kiingereza tunasema the seat is vacant. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika mswada ama katika impeachment ambayo iko mbele zetu, tuko na habari ya kwamba watu watatu, Mheshimiwa Spika, hawakuhusika katika upigaji wa kura, kwa kupitia njia ya kwamba mmoja wao aliweza kuaga dunia na wengine wawili, mmoja akaresign na mwingine akatolewa kupitia kwa njia ya koti. Mheshimiwa Spika, hatuwezi kulazimisha tuseme ya kwamba ni lazima wangepiga kura wabunge 35. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa Nyamira wanataka haki. Kuna mambo ambayo imeorodheshwa kwamba gavana amefanya kinyume na cha sheria. Mheshimiwa Spika, tungependa bunge hili la Senate liweze kuyasikiza mambo hayo kwa sababu yanahusiana sana na mambo ya watu wa Nyamira. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna mambo ambayo County Assembly imeona kwamba gavana amefanya kinyume. Naye gavana akona mambo anasema kwamba mimi sijafanya kinyume. So haki kufanyia haki ama haki kutendeka kwa watu wa Nyamira ni tuhakikisha kwamba bunge la Seneti limeweza kusikiliza mahitaji na kilio cha watu wa Nyamira. Tunapoongea Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa Nyamira hawapati maendeleo. County Assembly ya Nyamira imetuletea sisi kama majaji tuweze kuamua na kuona kwamba huyu gavana amefanya makosa. Tukimrudisha na makosa hayo, Mheshimiwa Spika, watu wa Nyamira wataendelea kupata shida. So mimi naunga mkono kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, tuendelee tusikize hii kesi ili tupatie watu wa Nyamira haki yao. Wacha gavana atuambie ni yapi hakufanya makosa. County Assembly ituambie gavana ni makosa gani alifanya. Mheshimiwa Spika, katika njia hiyo tutakuwa tunafanya haki na tutaingia katika vitambu vya kumbukumbu kwamba Senate hili, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni Senate ya haki na inalinda ugatuzi. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna jambo ambalo limejitokeza hapa ya kwamba kuna watu wengine waliandika affidavit ya kusema kwamba wapigiwe kura na wenzao. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nilikuwa mwakilishi ward katika kaunti ambayo nimetoka ya Lamu. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo sio jambo ngeni. Yanafanyika Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi katika Senate hii ndio tunatuma pesa mashinani. Na yale yanayotendeka huko mashinani, Mheshimiwa Spika, hatuletewi wakati yanafanyika kulingana na vile ambavyo wao wanataka. Lakini leo hii wametuletea kwa sababu imefanyika kinyume na vile ambavyo wangehitaji wao yafanyike. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nachukua nafasi hii kuwarai wabunge wa Senate hili ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Spika, tufanye haki kwa watu wa Nyamira. Sisi tulichukua kiapo hapa kwamba tutalinda katiba na kuizingatia. Kwa hivyo njia moja ya katiba ya kazi ambayo sisi tumepewa ni ya kupeleka pesa katika gatuzi zetu 47. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, tukipeleka hizo pesa katika gatuzi zetu 47, tuhakikishe zimefanyia wale wananchi kazi. Na kwa sasa Nyamira hakuna kazi inaendelea. Mheshimiwa Spika, wacha tuende full hearing, tusikize matatizo ambayo watu wa Nyamira wanaikumba ama wanapitia. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Miraj Abdirai.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kutoa changizo zangu katika hoja ambayo imewasilishwa na kiongozi wa walio wengi katika bunge hili la Seneti. Niweze kusema ya kwamba napinga vikali kusimamishwa kwa kusikilizwa kwa hoja hii ya kumtimua madarakani gavana wa Nyamira. Kwa sababu haiwezekani Mheshimiwa Spika ya kwamba ma-MCA wetu wanajizatiti kuona ya kwamba wanafanya haki zao za kikatiba ya kuweza kuona ya kwamba haki inatendeka katika gatuzi yao, alafu inapofika katika bunge la Seneti tuwe sisi tunatumia vizingiti kukwamisha juhudi ambazo ma-MCA wamefanya kule mashinani. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka ieleweke ya kwamba bunge hili la Seneti linakaa kutetea hoja na haki na kusimamia katiba yetu ya Kenya. Ndiposa nasema kama tulivyofanya awali, kwa sababu sisi wajumbe wa kuteuliwa na vyama vya kisiasa hatuna kura kujieleza kusema kwamba ndio makosa yameonekana ama hayakuonekana. Ni vyema basi na sisi tuweze kusikiza mashtaka yaliyosomwa. Na kwa kusema ukweli Bwana Spika, tangu nianze kukaa katika bunge hili mwaka wa 2022 sijawahi kusikia mashtaka yamesomwa mingi kama yale ambayo yamesomwa leo na gatuzi ya Nyamira. Ni dhahiri shahiri ya kwamba sisi ni wananchi ambao tunatunga sheria ili ziwe muongozo na sio tofauti ya hivyo. Haiwezekani ya kwamba kila siku tutakuwa tunawacha kusikiliza malalamishi ambayo yametoka kwa wananchi kupitia wawakilishi wadi wao kusema ya kwamba hapa kuna threshold haijakamilika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niungane na viongozi wenzangu maseneta kusema ya kwamba ipo haja ya bunge la Seneti kusikiza kiukamilifu malalamishi yaliyoletwa na bunge la Nyamira ili tuweze kung'amua ni lipi baya na lipi zuri, na endapo ipo haja huko mbeleni basi tuweze kuamua ya kwamba kama threshold walifikisha ama hawakufikisha. Lakini itakuwa goji kiriba goji kila siku ma-MCA ward. Ukiangalia Bwana Spika, gatuzi zetu 6 kutoka Pwani, ma-MCA wetu wameogopa hata kubuni motion ya kuleta magavana hapa kwa sababu wana hofu. Kwa sababu wakati wewe kama mwakilishi wadi umehusika katika kuimpeach ama kumuondosha madarakani gavana, kunakuwa na matatizo mingi ambayo unapitia katika mabunge yale. Kwa hivyo ningeomba mimi nikishirikiana na wajumbe ambao wameongea mbeleni ya kwamba ningependa kusikiliza mashtaka ndio ili gavana aweze kujitetea au la. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Maruma Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to comment on the PO by the county executive or the governor. And we are given an opportunity to interpret the law and the standing orders of Nyamira County Assembly. On the first limb, Mr. Speaker, the standing order 62(7) states that motion passes by 2/3 of all the members of the County Assembly. Now, what we are called to determine as Senate, Mr. Speaker, is what it means by all the members of the County Assembly. If today, Mr. Speaker, you are told, bring all the members of the County Assembly during the day of voting, you would bring 35 or 32. My view is you would bring 32 members because 3 were not there. Therefore, the threshold would be 2/3 of 32, Mr. Speaker. And we have dealt with the issue of decimals in dealing with the impeachment of Kericho. That when you have decimals, then you cannot have 1/3 of a human, then you round up. I heard Senator Nyaribo saying that we truncate. As a student of mathematics, Mr. Speaker, truncation means something very different, that we do away with that decimal part. But here, we are told that because you cannot have a decimal of a person, then we round up to the nearest human being. So if we had 35 people, Mr. Speaker, then 2/3 would be 23.33. Rounding up would get 24. But there is nowhere, Mr. Speaker, in the statute and in the standing orders where we have that magic number 24 explicitly stated. It is not there. So, Mr. Speaker, my view and my interpretation is that it is 2/3 of the members of the County Assembly at the time of voting, and that time they were 32. The next limb of this PO, Mr. Speaker, is to determine whether or not it is allowable or completely disallowed to vote through proxy. Mr. Speaker, I've had arguments here that we have never voted through proxy in this House. In the last Parliament, while voting, I can't remember for which standing committee, we were allowed to vote by proxy. Members who are absent wrote letters and indicated how they wanted to vote for particular chairs and vice chairs of standing committees. So if it happened, then that precedence was set, Mr. Speaker. I would like to say, lastly, for want of a clear law on impeachment of governors, deputy governors, and other state officers, then let us listen to the second limb, especially whether or not the standing orders of the County Assembly of Nyamira and the relevant statutes and the Constitution completely disallow voting by proxy. When we listen to the whole motion, and also we try and see if you can subsume this second part, then you can be able to make a clear, we can be able to have a clear vision, a clear view of this matter and make our decision. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm extremely clear that the threshold was met, the 2/3 threshold was met, and so I oppose this motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Sekirengu. Senator Medu John Muhia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to also weigh in on this matter. And Mr. Speaker, I look at Nyamira in a special lens from where I sit, because on this very house, Mr. Speaker, you know, there was a report that was laid by the Committee on Devolution that we were discussing on this very house of a county assembly that had 2 leaderships, a county assembly that had 2 speakers, and were even being invited to make a decision between these 2 warring groups, which group actually is the legitimate group, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, in my mind, Mr. Speaker, Nyamira is not any other county. And that is why I have been persuaded by the arguments of my colleagues who have actually said that we have not been invited to make a decision on the removal from office by this particular motion. What we have been invited is to make a determination on the preliminary objection by the defense, Mr. Speaker. And this decision we shall make it. But the plea that we are making, and I want to join my colleagues who have actually made that plea, the plea we are making is, Mr. Speaker, we can make this decision not now, but at the very tail end after listening to the substance of the materials that have been brought and the evidence that has been adduced by the members of the County Assembly. Mr. Speaker, we must also be careful in the way we prosecute these matters of impeachment. Because, Mr. Speaker, this mandate, we derive it from Article 96 of the Constitution of Kenya on oversight, Mr. Speaker. And we must be careful not to be seen to be pretending on how county assemblies carry out their business, Mr. Speaker. And we cannot be seen to be the ones that are discouraging county assemblies from carrying out oversight mandates over their governors, Mr. Speaker. Because a county assembly will just say, if we take these impeachment matters to the Senate, these people will not even look at the materials that we shall adduce. These people will not even look at the evidence that we have adduced. These people will actually throw out our case on technicalities of threshold and numbers, Mr. Speaker. Numbers are a constitutional requirement. I agree with my colleagues who have actually said numbers are a constitutional requirement. There is a requirement that a certain threshold must be met. That is actually spot on. But, Mr. Speaker, even as it is a requirement, the baby is in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. The matter is already in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. Why don't we just go to full hearing, listen to the case as it is, Mr. Speaker, because we shall be called to make a determination on this particular motion. We shall ultimately be asked to make a determination on whether the threshold was met or if it was not met. If members of this House carry that motion, the threshold was not met, then the evidence that we shall have had will not be of, we shall not take it into account when making that particular decision. But, Mr. Speaker, we need to encourage our county assemblies. That is why I was also persuaded, when the mover of the motion was moving this motion, that we need to revive back the legislative summit that was there, Mr. Speaker, I think 2 or 3 years ago, so that we can share experiences with our colleagues at the county assemblies. Mr. Speaker, the responsibilities of county assemblies are oversight, representation, and legislation. It is just the same thing that we do, but we are doing it at the national level, Mr. Speaker. So I would want to persuade my colleagues. Let us allow these teams of the county assembly come and tell us why they actually feel that Governor Nyaribo is not fit to lead the county of Nyamira. And then the county of Nyamira, the defense team of the governor, will tell us why they actually think that this is witch hunt or the evidence that they shall bring to this House, Mr. Speaker, so that we listen to all the issues that will be canvassed on this House, Mr. Speaker. We cannot make it our habit, Mr. Speaker, of killing impeachment motions at the inception. Just when people come here, the first thing that we deal with is a preliminary objection. Then we tell people, just go back. We shall discourage even MCAs from carrying out their business, Mr. Speaker. There are people who have put their mind in preparing the documents that are before us, Mr. Speaker. What is the problem in us listening to them? What is the problem in the evidence being laid before this House? If anything, Mr. Speaker, it's only 2 days. It's today, tomorrow. And I'm sure most of the senators who are here are actually ready to take business. You know, Mr. Speaker, the senators that are in this House, because I've been here, I have seen them prosecute business until very late in the night. So nobody is in a hurry. Nobody is in a hurry to be told that let us vote for the preliminary objection and go home. Go where? We have prosecuted matters on impeachment here during Christmas. You are aware, Mr. Speaker, during the Meru impeachment. We were here around Christmas time. And we can carry out this business for as long as we are required. The Senate is a house of agile and has proven itself time and again that we can make sound decisions, Mr. Speaker. So on behalf of the people of Nyamira, those who would want to know why was our governor taken to the Senate, how would they know why their governor was taken to the Senate if we just vote out this matter at the preliminary level, Mr. Speaker? Let them get to hear what are these accusations, so that even as they go home, whether they want, if we shall vote for to say that the threshold was not met, even when they go home, the people from Nyamira will actually know that even though the numbers were not met, these were the issues that were raised, or these guys were just witch hunting our governor. So I want to persuade my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, let us proceed to full hearing. Let us listen to this matter. Nobody has been asked at this point, and I want to repeat, Mr. Speaker, nobody has been asked to either vote for the removal of Governor Nyaribo. We are only being asked to make a decision and a determination on a technicality. And we want to ask that we just listen to the entire matter and then, Mr. Speaker, then we can make the decision thereafter. Mr. Speaker, maybe finally, I don't think I agree with the colleagues who have actually said that this motion is defective and should be amended. This motion is straightforward. You are being asked to make a decision on whether the threshold was met or not. There is nothing to be amended on this motion, and we shall make that decision. The only thing that we are saying is that you can allow us, Mr. Speaker, to make this decision after we have had the proceedings from both parties. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Senator Wamatinga Wahome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also want to add my voice into the same. Mr. Speaker, sir, many a times we've seen impeachment motions brought before this House, and we've tended to make decisions on the preliminary objection. The question, Mr. Speaker, that has been left in the minds of Kenyans is what has led to the impeachment of the governor. How they wish that we would give them a chance to listen to the accusations. The technicalities, Mr. Speaker, may not be a language that will be understood by the ordinary citizen. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I do want to agree, yes, it is a decision that ought to be made, but then there is a bigger question that begs into a moral obligation. Should we give Kenyans an opportunity to listen to the accusations that have been forwarded before this August House? Shouldn't we give the MCAs, even from the other counties, maybe to learn, to benchmark with what has been going on in other counties, Mr. Speaker? I do believe, and I'm of the conviction, Mr. Speaker, that our preliminary objection and making a decision and stopping the impeachment at that time has eroded the very democratic space that we want to expand, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to concur with those colleagues who say, yes, let's listen to the matter. Let's listen to what they say, the MCAs. Let the Kenyans listen to the accusations that have been leveled against the governor. And this, Mr. Speaker, it is not a verdict whether the governor is guilty or not. It is also an opportunity, Mr. Speaker, that we must not deny Kenyans to learn. How should you do your things? How do you do to get them right? How do you get them wrong, Mr. Speaker? But, Mr. Speaker, for this House to be seen to be delivering on its mandate, it is imperative, Mr. Speaker, that we give the county assemblies the opportunity to also execute their mandate without having to gang them, Mr. Speaker, on arrival. Mr. Speaker, killing an impeachment motion on preliminary objection, it is declaring the baby is dead on arrival. Mr. Speaker, it is the high time that we as a House, we give the MCAs an opportunity to be heard. It is the high time, Mr. Speaker, that we give the Kenyans an opportunity to see the accusations that are being leveled against the governors. It is also the high time, Mr. Speaker, that we give those governors who are listening on the things that they should do and how they should do it and what they should not do, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is my deep conviction, Mr. Speaker, that this House will be doing a great disservice to the county assemblies if we terminate this matter on preliminary objection. We have done it before, Mr. Speaker, yes. There was contention and there were contentious issues, Mr. Speaker. But I keep on asking myself, didn't we do the fellow Kenyans injustice by terminating the matter prematurely without them even getting an opportunity to know what the accusations were and maybe even learn from that, Mr. Speaker? And I'm looking this and talking about this, Mr. Speaker, as somebody who's in the future would want to be a governor, and I want to listen to the things that the governor did right, that the governor did wrong, and maybe things that I ought to do differently, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I say this as an opportunity, Mr. Speaker. I say this as an open book where Kenyans can get to listen, where Kenyans can get to interrogate, and most importantly, where even now the county assembly and the executive, in their prosecuting the matter, they'll listen to themselves and even ask them the questions, what is it that we could have done differently for us to avoid coming to this August House? Mr. Speaker, indeed it is imperative. Some of us are not lawyers, but then you do not need to be a lawyer to listen to things that made the process of getting a governor up to this point, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is my humble submission that we should let this matter go to full hearing so that we can get an opportunity to see what is it. And most important, Mr. Speaker, lessons learned, Mr. Speaker. And for those who are aspiring, especially the young readers, who in the future would want to be great leaders in this country know what is it that they ought to do differently. Mr. Speaker, terminating the matter on the preliminary objection will have failed in the sense that we'll have not given these young Kenyans, we'll have not given the MCAs an opportunity to present their case, and most importantly, also their executive to say, why did they commit or omit? This, Mr. Speaker, I think it is imperative that for this House that we let this matter go full hearing so that we get an opportunity to learn the content of the document, interrogate, Mr. Speaker, speak to the MCAs, and even listen to the executive. But most importantly, make the Kenyans feel that justice has been served. Mr. Speaker, I submit.
Senator Keroche.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. And as I have listened, the other senators, my colleagues, what they are suggesting, I think all of us, anytime we see MCAs bringing their governor for impeachment, we know the effort that they've put to ensure that they bring their governor for this impeachment. The only problem when I listen to whatever is on the floor, it is to ask ourselves whether the threshold was met. And then I hear what the senators are saying, that we listen the whole process and see whether there was enough grounds for the impeachment of the governor of Nyamira. I know our work is to impeach. Immediately after this, the MCAs bring the governor for impeachment, is for us to listen, to ensure that we listen and see whether they meet the ground, whether there is enough ground for impeaching the governor. The problem now is what I hear, is that we all listen, the process, and then at the end of it, we say that they didn't meet the threshold. The public outside there, they will not know the difference. They only know that the governor of Nyamira did this and this. And then, immediately, the senators say that they didn't meet the threshold. The MCAs didn't meet the threshold. So when the governor goes home, and we didn't do the right thing that was supposed to be done, I don't know what senators you are saying. So for me, I would think that we listen, yes, but we ensure if there is enough ground to impeach the governor, I think the governor should be sent home. But if there is not enough, then we can now debate the two. So mine is just to say that congratulations MCAs for even taking that effort to ensure that you can check at what is happening at your county and to ensure that you can bring the governor here. But because we come from counties where there is a lot of misappropriation of the funds, but the MCAs have never taken even an effort to bring the governor for the impeachment at the Senate. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you.
Senator Kathuri Murungi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, also for giving me an opportunity to comment on this motion on the floor of this Senate. Mr. Speaker, you know we have a clear mandate as the Senate. And the role of the Senate, and Article 96(1), the role of the Senate is to represent the counties and to serve to protect the interests of the counties and their governments. Mr. Speaker, Nyamira County is in ICU. This is the county which has operated 2 county assemblies. This is the county which has impeached the governor. This is, I think, the third time, if I'm not wrong. The first 2 impeachments, the threshold was a bit low. But this one, the threshold is less by 0.7, Mr. Speaker. If there is anything the Senate can do, Mr. Speaker, even though whether we vote in one or the other, is to assist the committee run by Senator Abbas. Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations. Mr. Speaker, when I listened to the preliminary objection, PO, the argument from the governor signed, and submissions also from the assembly signed, both the signs are valuable case, Mr. Speaker. Because if the direction according to the legal counsel of the governor is that 5, for sure the arithmetic becomes 23.3, which is 24 MCs. And if you listen to the other side, council representing the assembly, if 3 MCAs are not around and the MCAs are now 32, still his case is arguable. So, Mr. Speaker, this direction de lacuna is a bit tricky. You know, I represent Meru County, Mr. Speaker, and my former governor was impeached 3 times. I know how Nyamira County is feeling. I know the feeling of the County Assembly of Nyamira. So, Mr. Speaker, actually I don't want even to urge the members to wait until we hear the full case and then make determination of the PO at the end of the hearing. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask members to mobilize themselves and vote now so that this PO can be defeated. And then we go to the full hearing. And then also we vote after the full hearing. We vote now for the real matters that have been submitted to us, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when this case was brought to the Senate, I am the one who read actually this case to this floor. For almost that means, Mr. Speaker, without taking a breath. So the issues which has been raised by the County Assembly of Nyamira are so many and grave. And Mr. Speaker, I think the only thing we can do is to listen to these issues. So because the Senate should not be dwelling so much on the POs, but on the substance matter of the impeachment. And Mr. Speaker, by this we could have done so much if we went that way. But all the same, Mr. Speaker, let me request honorable senators, let us save Nyamira County. Let us listen to the issues raised by the Nyamira County residents through their representatives in the County Assembly. So, Mr. Speaker, without much ado, because I've made my mind on how I will vote, I will urge my colleagues, if technically we can be able to proceed with this hearing by voting, I shouldn't guide them because, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when you are named, sometimes you give advice to the junior senators. Let us vote in a way that we will proceed to hear the full hearing and vote for the counts that have been submitted to this Senate, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Senator Mogeni. Senator Mogeni? Or you've already taken to the floor? You may proceed.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, a doctor cannot treat himself. As the senator for Nyamira, I've sat here and listened keenly how my colleagues, senators, will provide wisdom in a manner that balances the interests of my county assembly and the interests of my governor. Mr. Speaker, having sat the whole morning and this afternoon, I have no doubt that the matter before you is fairly complex, but it requires Solomonic wisdom. If we are not careful, Mr. Speaker, we may end up damaging the reputation of this House. In 2013, Mr. Speaker, Chief Justice Mutunga was faced with an application by the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga to introduce evidence before the court, to be heard before the Supreme Court before a decision is made. Raila Odinga was denied that chance. Up to today, Chief Justice Mutunga has not recovered. I think, Mr. Speaker, if we were to apply some delicate balance and make a decision that is just, a decision that is measured, a decision that is creative in ensuring that we are seen to be a house that dispenses justice, let us allow members of the County Assembly, can you add me? Oh, sorry. Let us allow members of the County Assembly to present their case, Mr. Speaker, they be heard, and then the senators will be given an opportunity to pass a verdict, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, remember, in law, we normally say there should be parity in reasoning. I'm sure members of the County Assembly of Nyamira were watching on TV when we were faced with similar situations with the situation in Kericho, my neighboring county. And Mr. Speaker, you ruled and said, let us deal with the PO after hearing evidence from the County Assembly of Kericho. That's what you directed, Mr. Speaker. So I'm urging you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and my colleague senators, that let us apply the same standards for the county of Nyamira. The way Kericho was heard, the way the governor was heard, was given a chance to prosecute his PO, and a vote is taken, that will be the fairest decision. And I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, the people I represent, the people of Nyamira, will respect this house, and we will all walk tall. But if we reduce this impeachment to a matter where you can block it through legal technicalities, Mr. Speaker, we may risk damaging the reputation of this house. Finally, Mr. Speaker, remember that we are guided by our constitution, Mr. Speaker. If you read paragraph 2A of the third schedule, the obligation that is placed on this house is the moment you receive an impeachment before this house, your obligation as senators is to investigate into the matter, Mr. Speaker. And the investigating a matter includes, Mr. Speaker, inquiring whether the threshold was met, Mr. Speaker. And then, remember, Mr. Speaker, we have our constitution on fair hearing. Mr. Speaker, if you read Article 50, it says, every person has a right to have any dispute that can be resolved by application of the law to be heard in a fair and public hearing before any impartial tribunal. We are an impartial tribunal, Mr. Speaker. Let us be fair to both parties. We hear the County Assembly. We also hear the governor, after which all of you will be invited to make a decision. And that decision will be respected by the people of the great county of Nyamira. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Senate Majority Leader, as the mover of this motion, you may now proceed to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleagues who have taken their time to speak to this very important matter. This is not a light issue, Mr. Speaker. It involves the impeachment of a governor and a county assembly that has taken a position, not once, twice, but I hear 3 times. On 2 occasions, that matter never got to this House. This time, the matter is before us. Mr. Speaker, I'll try and be brief, but also try and explain some of the things which I agree and disagree with my colleagues. Mr. Speaker, for example, a case is being made here that because in Kericho 2, we subsumed the PO into the main matter, therefore that ought to be the same principle that applies this time. And many of my colleagues have advanced that argument. But Mr. Speaker, it is important to draw a distinction between Kericho 1 and Kericho 2. In Kericho 1, Mr. Speaker, we were dealing with a point of fact, a point of law, Mr. Speaker, whether the threshold was 33 or 32, Mr. Speaker. And we made the determination in this House, Mr. Speaker, that we need to make that determination whether threshold is 32 or 33. And I had explained earlier in my moving notes, Mr. Speaker, how we arrived at that particular decision. In Kericho too, Mr. Speaker, why it was not possible to terminate the hearings at PO level, Mr. Speaker, is because it was an argument, Mr. Speaker, on matters that were material to the case, whether individuals voted or not. There was no question of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Remember, we had affidavits from members from the county assembly, and the same members had affidavits in the governor's case. And therefore, it was important for us to listen to the material evidence that had been presented before us so that we establish whether these members voted or not. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I dare say, because I listened to the counsel for the governor in raising this PO, Mr. Speaker, instead of arguing for both, because if you see the bundle of documents, and I took time to read the documents that have been shared with us, Mr. Speaker, he anchored his PO on only one item instead of the two. There is a dispute in this Nyamira case on whether these 4 MCAs voted or not. There are affidavits here of them claiming that they didn't. But that matter is not yet before this House. I believe, should we get to the point where we go to full trial, Mr. Speaker, then we will take the time to ascertain whether they voted or not. This PO is precisely on the point of quorum, Mr. Speaker. Is it 35 or is it 32? And we have made the case, Mr. Speaker, that the Senate is what it is today, Mr. Speaker, because of the magical 24. The most difficult thing to achieve. That is why for 10 straight weeks, Mr. Speaker, a government combined together with opposition under what was then referred to as the handshake administration, Mr. Speaker, could not make it to pass a retrogressive formula against the people of Kenya. That issue of threshold is extremely important. It will be unfortunate if on the same floor of the House, Mr. Speaker, today we tell our county assemblies that it doesn't matter, that this constitutional principle varies, that because at the time of voting you are only 32, therefore quorum can shift. Mr. Speaker, somebody made a very good argument that for the last 10 months we have had 46 delegations in this House instead of 47 because of the unfortunate demise of our colleague, Senator Cheptumo. And until yesterday when we saw in the new senator, Mr. Speaker, we have been voting. How have we been voting, members? I don't recall a time where we have passed any item, 23 of us. We have still insisted that the constitutional principle of at least half the counties, which is 24, Mr. Speaker, has been applying. Surely, what will we be telling county assemblies today if we turn our backs and tell them that if for one reason or the other you are lesser than the constitutional threshold of what is the correct number of your county assembly, you can vote and impeach a governor and just bring it here? Honestly, good people, in good conscience, I cannot support such a position. That is not to say that there are no serious issues in Nyamira. But I made the case earlier, Mr. Speaker, that unfortunately, this House can only preside over a matter when it is properly before it. This matter, Mr. Speaker, in all honesty, is not proper before us. Because number one, there is even a dispute about the issue of proxy voting. But that matter hasn't been raised as yet. We will get to that matter should we get to that particular matter. Mr. Speaker, I didn't know that your Deputy Speaker can be a heckler. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is...
Order, honorable senators, order. Senator from Meru County, when your colleague is speaking,
yes,
do not engage them unless you engage them through the chair.
But he's shouting to my ear.
Proceed to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why.
And honorable Senator for Kericho.
I withdraw. I withdraw the word heckler. I withdraw.
Good.
I withdraw. I withdraw and apologize to my good friend Katuri Murungi.
You may now
I have withdrawn. Mr. Speaker.
Now, Senator for Meru, the Senator for Kericho has apologized and withdrawn. And I think that's good enough. That's fair enough. Proceed and conclude.
You know, he's an elder, and sometimes he brings me very nice things from Meru, Mr. Speaker, which I don't want him to deny me now that we are about to go on recess, Mr. Speaker. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make, good colleagues, is that I have also listened to people make the argument that why don't we hear the entirety of this particular matter so that eventually we will decide, having been informed of all the facts that are before us. But Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the law is the law. The reason, I believe there is a problem in almost every county. The reason why your governor is not here is perhaps because the few members of the county assembly who maybe have seen those issues and are speaking about them, Mr. Speaker, know that they are yet to achieve the threshold that is needed to bring a governor before this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with our colleagues that this matter is before us. However, Mr. Speaker, as I say that, I am conscious of the fact that serious points of law have also been raised. And I will not be dismissive of my colleagues who hold a contrary view, that perhaps it will make more sense if we took time, Mr. Speaker, and consult, first as a caucus, as a jury, then come back to make a decision. There has even been suggestion, Mr. Speaker, I think it was a senator for Homa Bay, who argued that why don't we invoke the provisions of Standing Order number 66.3, Mr. Speaker, that we hold the putting of a question. The unfortunate thing, Mr. Speaker, is that in your earlier communication, you made it clear that this is a bridge we must cross before we get to the case. So even if we invoke that standing order, then it will mean we rise today, we go home, then tomorrow when we meet at 9 a.m., we will begin from this very place. I want to propose something which if you colleagues can agree to, then perhaps we can try that one. Why don't we, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, because I also want to be persuaded further by my colleagues who hold a contrary view to what I believe, Mr. Speaker, because maybe due to the exigencies of time, they were not able to explain themselves properly, that we retreat, Mr. Speaker, as a House, reflect, that you defer the putting of the question for a further 1 hour. We retreat as a House, consult, listen to each other.
Order, honorable senators. That request has not been made to you. It has been made to me. So I will rule on it. Proceed. Proceed, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the decision of the application of 66.3, Mr. Speaker, is to the Speaker of the House. And that's why I am making this appeal to you eventually. If eventually, Mr. Speaker, members during that consulting session think otherwise, we will come back and report to you that either we are ready to vote or not ready to vote, and we'll take a decision and see what is good for the country and what is good for the county of Nyamira. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply and make that particular request of Standing Order number 66.3 that they be applied for the next 1 hour for us to consult. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, if you look at the Gazette notice, we gazetted 2 days to hear and determine this matter. That is today and tomorrow. Now, today has been expended on this PO. It means, therefore, that in the event that this PO is overruled, we have to conclude this matter. We need to start the case today, go all the way to midnight, come back tomorrow at 9, push it all the way to even 4 a.m., 6 a.m. on Friday morning, because those are the only days that have been gazetted. And therefore, Senate Majority Leader, we have to determine this matter, this PO, today. We cannot determine this PO tomorrow. I will therefore accede to your request and defer the putting of the question for 1 hour. After 1 hour, we will reconvene and I'll put the question on this particular motion. We determine it. If it's upheld, then of course the proceedings terminate immediately. If it's overruled, then we start hearing the opening statements, After the opening statement, the County Assembly will be given 5 hours to put their case. So we will rise. In the event that is overruled, we will push it until midnight today. And tomorrow we'll have to take it beyond midnight because we need to conclude this tomorrow. If it means going all the way to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or 6 a.m. So I will suspend. Yes, Senator. Yes, Senator Boni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for the chance. We are going in the same place we've been before. That when it is reaching the time for the critical decisions to be made, we start rushing because of, in the interest of time. Mr. Speaker, because you have acceded to that request, I request that you weigh the possibility of making further gazettement so that the people of Nyamira...
Senator Boni, you
Yes.
are anticipating debate because we don't know the outcome of this PO. And therefore, I cannot prepare for another gazette notice. Let us cross the bridge when you get there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In the event that you overrule this PO, then you can rise and put that proposal to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So, honorable senators, kindly arise. This session is suspended for 1 hour. We shall therefore come back here at exactly 7:30.